So let me start out with any apologies about me being low energy. It is 3:11 a.m. My sleep's still disrupted. I still have a shitload of housework to do to prep this place for the next time it gets sprayed for bed bugs. I haven't seen any bed bugs, but that's meaningless because they can lay dormant for a year, and they have eggs. So let's see. Why not get the Let's see. Still got. Oops. Sorry. I can't bend my. I can't bend my leg because I got my coffee cup. I sat on my leg. I was just gonna show you the fucked up situation I got in here. Turn the light up a little bit. But this is the main room that I live in. So as you can see, there's still like a whole bunch of clutter in the corner over there. And back over here, that's a 9,000 to a, well, actually, that's an $1,800 guitar in that case there. And in front of the case is a guitar like that fretlight guitar that's like a $300 guitar. But back here with the pillow on top of it is the chair laid sideways, and you can see the pliers and shit on the floor from because the lamp cord is all tangled up in the springs. So I don't know how well that's showing up. Obviously, I don't have enough hands to do this to adjust the lighting. But anyways, um, obviously I have. It is Sunday morning, so I have till Thursday to get all that straightened around, which would be no problem if I had, I don't know, a normal legs, normal legs. If I had, see, I started to start out to say if I had a normal right leg because my right knee is killing me tonight. Then I realized that both of my legs were fucked up, so that's why I said a normal legs. But as far as the chair situation, I'm not sure what to do with. As far as the big brown box that you saw, that's my dirty clothes hamper. I'm just throwing it out the fucking window. And I might do the same thing with this chair, but the problem is I have to figure out how to get the cord disconnected from the chair. I actually might take a piece of the chair apart and just leave it, the cord wrapped through it with the springs, but I'm not sure that I can do that. Um, but I could throw that out the window too. I mean, dragging it through your house when this is the main. Sorry about the lighting and the general madness of this video. But oh, I hear footsteps upstairs. I gotta be quiet, I guess. Um, anyways, um, got distracted by that again. That was me flipping them off, but the lighting screwed with it. Anyways, I would just throw that chair out the window. I don't care, you know. I can't get nobody to help me. The only guy I could really get to help me is the guy that gave me bed bugs in the first place. I could ask my cop friend to help me, and he'd do it because he's got to go to he rents. He deals with bed bug places, and plus this place has been sprayed down pretty good. So right now there's not a lot of bed bugs active. That's the key word, active. Because I got on the phone with my cousin in Florida, and he was like, "Oh shit, man, we use one of those major companies." Yeah, I think he was talking about Orkin or something, and he said it cost us like $1,800 the first time, and then it cost us more the second time. They guaranteed their work, but they only guaranteed it the work for two times. The third time, you know, they were like, the guarantee runs out, because they figure maybe they just can't keep spraying your place over and over and over again if but I guess they live in Florida. They might have had a really bad infestation as opposed to me. But my plan is to clean up all this clutter, get the floor bare, and have the guy spray down the floor. And I probably said this before, in case the mattresses in the box springs, put diatomaceous earth mixed with poison all the way around the bed as best as I can. But I'm going to need help doing all this stuff because my leg is fucked up. So I was thinking, trying to make plans. I was thinking about like, well, I'll call my cop friend and I'll just make a like an appointment with him where he can help me do all this stuff after the second spraying. And I don't want my brother to come back here, obviously, if he's the one that brought him here in the first place. And um, yeah, yeah, I made a decision here. Like it's a painful decision for me, believe me. But it's like from now on, all I'm doing is saving money to get the fuck out of here. It's like it's high time. It's just ridiculous. The stuff that I put up with here because I hate move. It's not just because I hate moving so much. It's just because I like the neighborhood. I like my setup here. I've said all this shit before. I like the woods and I like the stream and I like all the oxygen. I can't get the light to stop being obnoxious on for you. Um, I like I like the wooded area and everything like that, but you know, it's time to move. And I did a couple of things like you know when I thought I was going to get my knee operated on, I was like, well, I need some stuff to look forward to, so I sunk about $200 to $400 into guitar stuff. Not buying guitars, but just like taking guitars. And I did buy one guitar, and then I took guitars in the shop, and I had that stupid dream that I've had for 30 years about playing guitars with my friends who aren't really my friends. Um, it's never ever gonna happen. Sorry, I done give up on that. Um, Along with the boat, and I was thinking, what is that? Oh, there's a miller flying over there. Oh, this video is very distracting video. Um, but yeah, I seen something interesting this morning that led me to believe that this place is just totally gone. This guy just totally, if he didn't give a fuck before, which he confirmed in through the meth crisis of last summer, he really don't give a fuck now because I wake up this morning. I don't wake up in the mornings. What the fuck am I even saying? I remember that I didn't get my mail from the day before, and I had like a package in there, and so I was like, okay, I better go out there and get that packet. So I go outside and I see the one guy that lives upstairs that served in the Afghani war. His cell phone is just sitting. This is like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. It's just sitting on a chair out there, and then there's like two broken cigarettes that nobody lit up. And he left me a couple of cigarettes before, like in the window, for setting up that power cord for him so he could charge his phone because he's got no electricity. And I see a beer out in the yard, and I'm like, man, he had himself one hell of a rough night. So I don't like to enable people, but didn't want the phone to get stolen, so I took the phone in and I put a sign on the door that said I had his phone and knock loud, and put my name, Steve, on it, and then I picked up the cigarettes, and of course they were broken, but I smoked unfiltered because I'm an addict, and I smoked a short half that wasn't broken and the long half unfiltered, and if I have access to cigarettes, I'm 99.9% chance I'm gonna smoke them. And so, anyways, I'm thinking like, well, this sucks ass because my sleep is disrupted. I'm gonna get sleepy like around 12 noon. There's a oh, that's that Miller. I thought it was a roach for a second. But I was like, so I'm gonna be like dead asleep, and this guy's gonna be pounding on my door, asking about his phone, but I didn't want his phone to get stolen. But within an hour, he was up and at him because he's still like, 30 or something like that. You can drink like a fish and still pop up. And 30, I mean, he didn't look the best, but he come out like in his pajamas, pure don't give a fuck mode with like his underwear hanging out and shit. And I was like, fuck it, I've been up all night. And I said, feels not, air's pretty nice outside. I never get to go outside, so I sat outside, risking reinfesting the place with bed bugs. But I sat on the iron chair first, like an iron, like a metal chair, less chance of bed bugs transferal. But I just had on shorts and nothing else, and I just sat there and talked to him for a while, you know. And he said that I just get these crazy thoughts. He's like, I was mad at you because I thought that the whole point of you setting up that cord for me to have electricity was to steal my battery charger. And I'm like, dude. He goes, I know. He's like, I know. That's a sick thought. You don't gotta tell me. And I said, I got like $1,500 in the bank. I don't need your battery charger. Wouldn't fit my phone anyway. My phone's an Android and yours isn't. He goes, I know. Just stop. He's like, I know it ain't right. Then he looks out in the yard at what I thought was an empty beer can. He says, I think that's a full one. He goes down. He gets the beer can. Pops it, starts drinking. 9 o'clock in the morning. Goes upstairs, gets a bong, and starts smoking on the porch. Like he's like, I don't give a fuck, and he really don't give a fuck. And so this guy, the only people that's the guy in apartment 4. The great people above me are apartment 3. The only people there are 2 little kids, a mother, and a grandmother. And the mother's got to be anywhere from 45 to 55. The grandmother's like in her 60s. And she comes walking in carrying like heavy groceries and shit, with a sweatshirt on. So you will probably just walk to the gas station, but even still, like Jesus, because they don't have any car, right? And I don't know cars, but I talked to my guy in Florida that was like, he was like, oh, you're fucked. This one I said I had bed bugs. And he claims this car that pulled up that I described to him is like between 50 and a $70,000 car. It's an Audi. And I don't know if, I don't know if this has any bearing on anything, but it's a detail I'm just going to throw in there, so don't call me racist. But this black dude comes out of the car and he's wearing like a gold chain. And he comes in there and he's just like looking at these 2 white dudes. One guy in the pajamas and one guy in shorts and nothing else. And he's not saying nothing. I say, hey man, what's up? And he's like, then, just acknowledge like, yeah, you're not going to walk fucking past us. And he's there for 3 to 5 minutes. Now, it's a drug deal. Nobody stops him for 3 to 5 minutes unless, they're like borrowed money off of that guy and or something. It's like, that's just not how you do it. Why would you fucking drive to visit with somebody for 3 to 5 minutes? You give them a fucking phone call. So, I've seen enough of this type of activity to know what's up. So it's starting up all over again in this building, which is no surprise. Landlord don't care. He doesn't care. Drugs. That's why I told um, uh, Chris, the Afghanistan veteran, is I was like, he don't give a fuck if you smoke that shit. It's like he don't give a fuck if shit gets sold out of this building, let alone if people are just smoking it. And that's when he said, I don't give a fuck either, man. I'm smoking it. It's just smoking a little tiny water bong out in broad daylight in front of everybody. So, yeah. So that was in the morning. And I come back in here and I bring out some more clothes and hang up some more clothes I did by hand. And I don't go to sleep till like 4, and I wake up at uh, like 11. No, it was 12 midnight. So I had a good 8 hours sleep. But I woke up, my leg was just fucking killing me. I'm like, that don't look like much what I showed you, but I was like, how the hell am I going to do that, man? It's really going to be painful. I got most of my clothes. I could just throw shit out, just throw everything out. People do that. But a lot of that stuff I don't want to throw out. Believe it or not, that looks like junk. I just don't want to just throw it out. So I'll probably just bag it up and seal it tight, airtight, so nothing can get out of it. And, even if there was an adult in there, that would starve them to death if you keep them bagged up for a year. As far as the chair, I'm gonna start working on this shit as soon as it gets to be a decent hour and do some work. I'd much rather take a whole shitload of gabapentin and zone out, not feel any pain. Or actually, because my leg hurts that bad, but it doesn't matter. It's got to get done. But actually, what I really would like to do is to continue working on my Escape from Freedom book, which I've kind of had since the bed bug thing. I've kind of, the microphone ain't even up. So I've kind of just been reading ahead and marking things down with a pencil. Trouble areas that would be troublesome to read aloud, circling difficult words, and that kind of thing. But no, this place is a total shithole. It was like I have to move. So I just made this up in my mind before I started this video. It's like, every nickel I can pinch is going in the bank. I'm moving out of here. I don't know where. And I might just leave everything behind. Just start over. Like literally fucking start over. Just leave everything here. Even this my beloved lamp. And just take the barest essentials of the things that I need. And I'm talking about leaving like a 50-inch TV here. Leaving all my furniture here. But that's going to take some time for me to save up enough cash. Ain't going to be no Rent-A-Center shit either. It'll be like, going to the Goodwill and the Salvation Army and picking up a chair or a couch to sleep on or something like that. But, this landlord ain't doable. I asked him a simple question on the fucking machine. Where is it? This is where you should have your shit prepared, where you should script stuff, but fuck scripting things. Also got to punch in my passcode on my phone, which I can't tell you because I was going to tell you my passcode, but it's my passcode for everything because I can't remember all that shit. But here's like the last mail that I wrote the guy. And let's see. I asked him a simple question, right? And he won't answer it because any questions that he answers, it just leaves him open. So, like, here's what I wrote him. I said, okay. This might be boring. I don't know. You know me. I don't really care. But here's what I wrote to him. I said, I haven't seen many bed bugs after the first few days. A couple of hatchlings. Spent every day putting all clothes, clean or dirty, in extremely hot water 90 minutes to kill eggs, so water must be boiled to maintain heat. I of course do not want to do this again, as it is laborious washing everything by hand and sealing extra clothes in airtight bags and limiting wardrobe. Laugh out loud. Well-sealed mattress and box spring and encasements made specifically anti-bedbug. Considering the way the bugs appeared during all the extra people upstairs, I think a carry is in order. And I'm not talking about pig's blood. No pig's blood. Remember when she insisted you asked me to let the guy inspect my place? I didn't see the point, but I agreed. And my place has never been a clown car. Michelle said the extra people would be there a few weeks in what, January? No answer. Me again. If the exterminator is willing to have a look with Carrie, probably makes sense. Need to make sure there's none left. What do you think? No answer. I think seeing is believing, and I've seen people accept rats and mice as house guests. Some people are willing to live with vermin. And finally he answers and he said, when is he coming back to treat your place? And I say, Thursday, I think. He was an hour and a half late, so he didn't say much. He was just in a hurry to get out of here. Just 2 weeks. And he said it was Thursday. He was in a hurry, probably hungry. And then my landlord says, okay, I'll try and stop by before he comes. Now 12:16, 12:16. So he's there. We're having a conversation. So I said, thanks. It just makes sense. Um, Michelle might not like it, or she may welcome the idea. No one really socializes here, but with all those people and kids walking by my door, one pregnant bedbug equals 250. Hard to track down. Chris said he had none. I never got a chance to ask Michelle. I remember Carrie, she was a neat freak, and you said she wouldn't let up and insisted everyone be checked. Like you said, they aren't big on traveling, will only go 100 feet to search for food. I don't need everyone checked, just that clown car above me. A lot of people up there for a long time. Sorry about the extra bother since you paid. That guy charged by the room or a flat fee? Okay, that was written at 12:29. It says I posted that. And the previous one was at 12:16. That was 2 days ago. No answer. He won't answer me whether the guy charges by the room or a flat fee. Why? Who knows? But he does that a lot. I'll ask him a question and I'll just leave it unanswered. Now that seemed boring to me, and I apologize if that was boring to you. But yeah, I'm done. I hate moving worse than anything. I've moved very few times in my life. Sorry about the pop. This old microphone is old, and I hate moving. But this is it. I'm done. I'm gone. It's just gonna take me some time because I spent money on them guitars. I was preparing for a future I hope would happen, which was having a knee to rehab, but that's not going to happen. And it's patently clear that he wants this place to be a slum. I've had an 8-foot hole that's got, still there. Let's see, that's my, yeah, there's the 8-foot hole with the cardboarded up spot. It's been there since November 8th, 2018. So it's very clear that he just wants this place to be a slum. Maybe that's the way he operates all his buildings, but he didn't seem like that at first. He was like he was or he's just a very good con man, I don't know. But it is what it is. I mean, my shoulders hurt, my arms hurt, my hands hurt from wringing out clothes. I got very, I don't know why that guy was here, but the part that I left out, this thing stop bothering me. The part that I left out was the guy, or the Chris asked the guy that pulled up in the $50,000 to $70,000 car, is that your white so and so? Also a very expensive car, and he's like, yeah. Now I don't like to profile anybody, but these are like doctors' cars. What does this guy do for a living? Come on now. Why is he coming in a $50,000 car and staying for 3 to 5 minutes somewhere? Seen the behavior too many times not to recognize it. I mean, the thing of it is like, because of, she's got a good defense mechanism going if she is like making buys and stuff, because her defense mechanism is that stomping, because that stomping keeps me in this room instead of out in the living room with the 3 windows on the porch where I could watch all the behavior for myself, and I could be like, yeah, I know exactly what was going on then. But it took me a while even to pick up on the fact that, it didn't take me long because of the noise, but it took me a while to pick up on the fact that there was like a shitload of extra people living up there. But I complained about that, and they were over here for the weekend, but they're mostly not here now. So she's worried about losing the place because he told her like they got to go or she goes because he's all about this. He's all about the money, and you got 8 people taking showers, and he's paying the water bill. That math to him don't add up. So the nightmare continues. And I was thinking about us just laying here watching the baseball game. Very good baseball game, but I was thinking while I was watching it, and I was like, where would I go? It's like I don't really have any family anymore. Don't really have any friends. I wouldn't want to rent off of my cop buddy, even though he rents properties, because I've done that before. And he's a real cheap guy too. You know, he does his own exterminating with this. He's got the sprayer set up and he sprays his own stuff. You know, I rented off of him for like, I don't know, 12 to 15 years. And it just feel like taking a step back to me. But that's an option. You know, at least I'd have somebody, a familiar face, since I'm not good at making friends. And apparently not a good judge of character either, because this landlord guy had me fooled for years. Um, you know, even up, I was even lying. I was even buying his line of bullshit when the crack dealers were here, and he was doing nothing about it because he was giving me all this bullshit about like, well, I can't really accuse him of anything because then I'll be legally liable. And I'm like, I don't know what, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I see. You know, it's like I am actually seeing people sitting on the porch firing up crack pipes. I'm seeing people count out money on the porch. I actually timed the guy who was in and out of here in 45 seconds. I see the same people coming. It's clearly a drug trade going down here. You know, you see the same withered faces, coming and going, and they don't stay. But he did nothing about that. They just got out of Dodge on their own. I should have called the police about that. Then you call the police and you start getting the police involved. Like I say, sometimes the police are only gonna come to pick up the pieces, and this time it would be the pieces of me, or what's left of me. Because when you're in a 4-unit building, the suspects for the people that are causing the trouble on them, that list is very, very short. So that's why I like with the meth thing, I really stuck my neck out with the machete thing and everything, but that had to stop. Somebody had to stop that. Is because all the shit that was going down here, they knew it was me causing the trouble. They knew it was me. That's why I was the guy getting the death threats and everything. If it was a bigger building, it could be like they wouldn't know who to accuse of what. But this is a 4-unit building, and at the time, I think there was only 3. At the time with the meth people, there was 4 people here, but there was actually a nice family that lived above me, but they got the hell out of there fast when they knew what was going on. So there was only 3 units filled in the building. A guy in a wheelchair, me, and the meth scumbags. So, but yeah, this has really ruined my health and ruined my life living here. And he don't have no conscience, clearly. So, but I was thinking, like, when I move out of here, just like, I don't have no cleaning deposit, so I got nothing to lose. I can trash the place if I want to. But that, since he believes he's a Christian or whatever, I'm gonna find the chapter and verse of that thing. Many who knock, few enter. It's like, and put you are a knocker, a cock knocker. No, but you are a knocker. You're a phony. In other words, you're a phony. You're a pretender. You're a pretender if you think you're getting rewarded by some benevolent uh, heavenly deity for behaving the way you behave. Freaking lying and being evasive and treating somebody, a good person like me, like he's treated me for years now. You know, so yeah, that's a difficult decision to come to. You know, for me because I don't have a healthy body, and I'd have I'd have to hire like professional movers, and it's like even at my best, I could maybe save $700 a month living here. So you know, I might be stuck living here for another year. I could have like a. There's no telling. You know, I got some money saved up. Like I got maybe like $1,500 saved up, and then I bought all those Cleveland Browns football cards, so I could probably that's like $1,000 there that I could sell. Not sure exactly how much I need to move. You know, but I'll just leave everything here. Got no good memory associated with this living here. Leave everything here. Take a functional lamp. Make sure it's got no bugs in it. And take personal items. Just leave. Leave the bed. Buy a new bed. Need to buy a new bed anyway. And start over, man. But man, moving is the worst. I hate moving. But that's why I've been here and put up with all this shit for this long. But you know, I've had the bad knee now, and if you look back at my videos, it's like a ongoing thing for like ever. And so I was like, man, I'm gonna get my knee situated, and then we'll get the fuck out of here. Because after the meth thing, you know, that convinced me that he didn't have my back during that meth trade at all, and he don't care who lives here. And this would be the millionth time I said this, but Clint, who? And if you're following me, you know where that story goes. Wants me to live with somebody he don't even know the guy's last name or if he has a job. Don't care. As long as he's getting paid, he don't care. You know, and if he's using government agencies, don't care. You don't care if that guy like pulled up and uh, sold that woman her poison of choice this morning. Don't care. You don't care. So he told me that once, you know, that he didn't care like what people did in their homes, like what drugs they used. He said I don't care about that. And I said something about I don't care really about that either. I care about people selling. And then he didn't say anything in response to that. Another interesting thing about the guy is like I might have already said this before, but um, my cop friend gave me this paste with that it, for roaches that take and the guy commented twice. This is expensive stuff. My landlord commented on this twice, you know, because another landlord gave me this for free. He was looking at it like in surprise. He's like, "This is expensive stuff." He said it like 5 minutes later. He said it again, and it's like he had this look of amazement, like, "Huh, generosity, worrying about your fellow man. The fuck kind of crazy madness is this?" But yeah, um, I feel pretty rough, and still have work to do. It's just you know, it's like somebody now. It's like somebody with a you know, I never took for granted the fact that I was on disability and didn't have to grind no 9 to 5er. But now this is just like a 9 to 5er, man, where you wake up in the morning and you don't feel like doing shit and you got to go do them 8 hours. Got to go to work. This is what this is like now. 'Cause this has got to be cleared out. It wasn't all tore up like this before. This is just I've been tearing it up. You know, it was all packed away. I actually had my brother come in here and he cleaned and swept, the one that gave me bed bugs. And so this, except for the chair being, the chair wasn't flipped over when he was over here. That was after he was over here, and uh, or he would have probably fixed that for me. He's good at that kind of stuff. But I don't want him back here, and he don't want to come back here because he's afraid he'll get bugs. Because he's so logical that he's afraid. I'm getting actually sprayed by professionals, and he's like, I'm not going back there. If you got bugs, he says it half jokingly, but I know him better than anybody, and I know he's dead serious. Like he won't come back here, but he will go over to the house that I got the bed bugs from and wash clothes there because they're bed bugs. They only stay in people's beds. That's clearly why they travel from house to house. He don't make no sense, you know. But God love him. Yeah, stuff he been through, the stuff I've been through growing up and stuff. I let most of that stuff pass before I have to get medieval with him and verbally, cut him down. I could really use his help right now, but he won't come in here, even though he infested the place, or was at least part of the infestation because um, the guy that was driving him is from an infested house, and then the guy that was driving him stopped and sat on the couch for like 15, 20 minutes that was from the infested house. And odds, just basic logic would tell you that's where they came from. But it is possible that the people upstairs have them so bad because people who can live with rats, people can live with mice, people can live with any kind of vermin and get used to them. I told my Mrs. Haversham roaches at the dinner table story in the other video to explain that. But at the time, I was living in a house that had rats in the basement, and nobody really even much gave a fuck. Because I grew up in a nut house. I grew up in a nut farm, man. So, there's a possibility that uh, I didn't get it off my brother-in-law and sister's house through my brother, but I got it from upstairs. But they really don't travel that much if they have um, people to feed on. They travel 30 meters, about 100 feet to look for food, and that's it. They're not very fast either, and they're easy to kill if you can see them. It's not like chasing down a centipede. Uh, but I lost the thread of what I was saying there. Well, the point being that she could actually have such a bad infestation in there, and maybe that guy is helping her forget about it. Within the Audi this morning, and so I could have actually gotten up from upstairs, or just like people walking by my door. Somebody actually just swinging their arms, brush one off of their leg, and they can travel 100 feet to look for food. And they walk by my door, it crawls underneath my door into my house. Boom! It's a pregnant female. Instant infestation. You know. So, I brought that fact up to the landlord. I said I was going to call him on the phone, and I will later on, but I texted him first. But I said there was going to be no texting. But what I meant was I'm talking to him on the phone before next Thursday. You know, um, maybe I don't know. It's like I'm stupid like that, but I could actually ask him to help me in case my bedding and stuff, and ask him to actually help out with the stuff in here. But I don't want to because I hate his fucking guts, and I hate the fact that he's turned me into a two-faced son of a bitch to where I can't tell him what he is because I'm stuck living in this property because I got a bad leg and a limited bank account. I'm kind of stuck here. I don't want to have no antagonistic relationship with somebody that I gotta interact with and see like that. And but yeah, I will do that when I move. Is I will write that verse out of the Bible. I might even, just in case he don't look it up, I might just put many who knock, to let him know. because I don't know what denomination of Christianity he is, but if he's a Catholic, they aren't into the Bible that much, because I was raised Catholic. And that's what turned me against Catholicism, was actually I just read the Bible myself, and I'm like, this is supposed to be their like instruction manual. They ain't following it worth a shit. And it's like, I read the Bible when I was, 13, 14, 15. And then 15, I quit the Catholic Church. And I was like, a lot of stuff in here that, this is supposed to be the book that they're following. This is supposed to be their sacred text. And they're not even following it. They don't even read it in the church. They read like, I remember can't remember the guy's name, but the priest guy, Father whoever, he would read like one line out of the Bible and then just like do what I'm doing, just patter his little sermon after like the one line and his interpretation of it. Father Oliver. There was a father and a Monsignor. The Monsignor used to grab your cheeks sadistically when you were a little kid and say, "Oh, you're a cute little boy," and just about yank your fucking face off. And maybe he was thinking, "Oh, you're a cute," no Catholic molestation jokes, but maybe he was like, he's everybody loved that guy, but I don't recall him doing that to. It's too long ago and I was too little, so I don't recall if he was like, "Oh, you're a cute little boy," or if he ever did that to girls' faces. Maybe he thought it was inappropriate, but man, he'd pinch you by the face and say, "You're a good kid," or like pull on your face real hard, and you'd be like, "Fuck, dude, stop that." Um, but at least he didn't take you into the back room and do anything to you, so got off easy. Um, anyways, yeah, it's a decision I just came to like about an hour ago, and it's like once I make my mind up, I pretty well make my mind up. So watch all my spending and keep it all to a minimum. Live off of the Meals on Wheels meals as best I can. Only buying milk, yogurt, butter, bread to go along with them, and gotta have that yogurt, man. And gotta have my coffee. But man, I know how to live cheap. When I moved in here, I had $753 to work with, and I had to pay a $425 rent. So, and I know poor. I know all about poor, and I know all about how to save money. But even still, you got to have a lot of money to move, especially if you're going to leave your bed behind and you're going to leave all your stuff behind, like I intend to. Especially with the risk of reinfestation, because bed bugs can just lay dormant forever. Some people claim it's up to 2 years. You're not safe up to 2 years, but most sources say that every source says that they can go a year without feeding. They just go dormant. You know, it's like I read a lot about them. That's why you encase my mattress, because I don't know how long this whole process of moving is going to take me, and I don't know where my sanity is going to go, and what things going to be like around this mad house, and I don't know. Like, I'm back to square one as far as my knee. So I don't know how bad my knee's going to get, how bad my walking's going to get. I still don't know if I'm going to get my scooter or when I'm going to get my scooter. Going to make that call next week and talk to Miller's and see if they got a date picked out for dropping it off. And so I'm still dependent. And yeah. What a nightmare. Seemed like a good life choice at the time. Move in, I got friends and family. I had a boat with a guy who loved to go fishing. So, we go fishing and go fishing in some places we never dreamed of when we were poor slum kids growing up. I had a beautiful fucking apartment, in my opinion, um, for one person. Had a nice backyard, put a garden back there. Everything was set up beautiful. I think I moved here um, right around 9 years ago. And just everything went to hell. And I found out that people that I know thought I knew, that really shakes your foundation psychologically, is when you find out that the people that you think you knew, you don't really know. The people that you thought had your back are just using you, and they don't really have your back, you know. Um, that shakes your foundations worse than anything, man. Because when your support system starts turning on you, uh, disease to me, nothing compared to that. Because this, way more important than this. It's one thing I've learned. You keep your head square, you keep your equilibrium, your mental equilibrium, and your sanity. And you remember those two things. The only things you got to feel ashamed of in life are the things that you do that hurt other people, and the things that you don't do where you have opportunities to help other people. The stuff that happens to you, your circumstances, the misfortunes that may befall you, it's nothing to be ashamed of. You think I'm ashamed of being poor? You think I sat on the porch and I have all them scars and my body's all twisted up and shit. You think I'm ashamed of that shit? Mm-mm, I'm not ashamed of it. I just think it's rude to make people look at that. It's kind of funny. The dude that I was sitting out on the porch with this morning, when he was a little kid, I was playing cards, and he was a little kid, man, like 4 or 5 years old, and I was leaning forward in the chair, and he got a good look at my back, and he said, "What happened to your back?" And I'm like, "Oh, lots of things." And uh, somebody at the table said, um, "Well, at least you." No, I said, "At least I don't have to look at it." And the little kid said, "I wish I didn't have to look at it." And then his grandmother or his mother was like, "Go in the other room." But yeah, it's the same dude that's 30 years old now. I was sitting out on the porch with, wondering if the guy in the Audi was a drug dealer or not. Um, but no, that shit, I ain't ashamed of that shit. You know, it's not a matter of shame; it's a matter of politeness. It's like if you had like some kind of it's like wearing a hat when you're bald. If you think people are, if or like makeup for women, or it's just like you don't want to make nobody look at that. And it's kind of hard to hold a conversation if they get a look at your. You don't want them to be distracted by that. I told you my story about having a conversation with the guy with three nipples, and then realizing when I'm talking to the shirtless guy that he's got three nipples, because he had like that happens sometimes. He had a nipple like right here, and all I could think of was, I cracked myself up, but all I could think of was like at the time nipple chains were big, where like you have a chain going from one nipple to the other nipple. You could have a nipple triangle. That's all I was thinking of. I was trying not to laugh to myself, but I was like, focus on his eyes, focus on his eyes. You're not seeing things. That is a third nipple. You know, it's like I don't want to be like that guy to where people are just like looking at my physical oddity, and you know. So, anyways, yeah, um, that was like whoa. Then I had another. That was like the opposite of an incident where I had a physical therapist when I was in shit. I must have been 21 years old or something like that. Where he had a wandering eye, so you had to not look him in the eye. You know, you had. It was weird because if you looked at him in the eyes, you'd forget what he was saying. So you kind of had to look below his eyes, not look him in the eye because his eye would start dancing and moving this way and that way and shit like that. And you'd forget about what he was talking about. You'd just be sitting there watching his eye. So with the nipple guy, you had to look him in the eye and make sure you looked him in the eye. With the wandering eye guy, you couldn't look him in the eye. You had to make sure you didn't look him in the eye. So it was it was the opposite. Um, but yeah, life is humorous, um, even when it's despicable. I guess when you reach a certain point of alienation, you can even think your own misfortune is absurd. But there comes a point in time where you realize, like, with my temper, I realize I cannot be Mr. Phony and Mr. Polite with my landlord for much longer, anyways. So I'm thinking about actually doing this, just paying the rent, like uh, seeing him as little as possible, as little contact as possible, and paying him 2 months of rent at a time, you know, which he might find weird or whatever. Once I get enough money, I have enough money built up to do it now, but I want to make sure I got a little cushion just in case something bad happens where it takes up my money. Um, but yeah, because sooner or later, man, my temper is gonna flare, and you know, it might be like it might be bad, it might be like potential violence, and hopefully he's not concealed carrying that day because he has properties that are pretty bad, which he admitted to me. This is a while ago, and he said, "I got a gun on me right now." I'm like, "You do?" He goes, "Yeah," and he had like a vest on that was it was real concealed carry because I had no idea. But he pulled open his vest and he took out this gun called a Kimber, which is like a super pricey um, 45 caliber gun, I think. And he's like it's like it's the best. He's like it doesn't jam, and I have to go into get in confrontational situations with people, and some of the properties that I own are like not in the best neighborhoods. I think he was talking specifically about an infamous place in an infamous city, Canton, Ohio, that was called the Newton Zone. That's what it was called, the Newton Zone. But because one of the main roads through it, of course, was Newton Avenue, and I used to walk through there at night. And people would be like, "You're out of your goddamn mind," and I'm like, "You got it." When I was 20, I didn't care, but I walked through there not habitually, but I walked through there at night. I did almost have an incident I remember with um, there was three kids. I haven't thought about this shit in years, but there was like I was walking through the Newton Zone, and there was like three kids on bicycles, and they were like, "Hey man, you want to buy some weed?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, I don't want to buy no weed." And they're like, "Oh, that figures, you fucking butterhead." I'm like, "What did you just call me?" And they're like, "You heard me, you fucking butterhead," because I was skinny looking and I was pale, and I was like, "Motherfucking," I went at all three of them. I just started walking toward all three of them, and then I stopped because I realized the fuck's a butterhead. I didn't even know what the insult meant, but I was like, "Fucking kids," because I was like a tough, late 20s dude, and I got like these teenage kids calling me names on bicycles trying to sell me weed in this area, after dark, and oh, I was like, you know, I was well in my 20s. I wasn't right in the head. It's like I didn't care if I got shot or killed or whatever. It's like so I started walking right at him, and then that was funny because I stopped and I was like, "What the hell is a butterhead?" And then I asked somebody who was a little more streetwise than me, or no, not more streetwise so much as in touch with the lingo. And they were like, "Oh, butterhead, that means a crackhead." They thought you were a crackhead because you're skinny and you're pale, and they were calling you a crackhead. because crack turns your head to butter. In other words, it makes you stupid. And with my own personal experience, it's like one time I offered to get high with this dude, and he was like all excited, and then I was like pulled out like a pop pipe, and then he deflated because crackhead marijuana don't do shit for him. Because why he would think I had crack, I don't know. But this is a guy that I talked about before that was named Carl. That he sold me his wife's VCR, and she said, "I know what the police are gonna look like. I can describe said police when they show up." That guy. Why he would think that I would have crack, I don't know. But that's just crack. That's just crack was probably going through his brain at the time. Crack, 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 crack. Because he was trying to sell me shit. Because I used to think that was funny. Because that's how twisted I was. That he would knock on my door at 2, 3, 4 in the morning and wake me up and try to sell me the stupidest shit in the world. And I used to just think it was funny, instead of like chasing him away with a baseball bat or calling the police or whatever. That's the guy who tried to sell me the Italian shoes and all that stuff. And but anyways, that one time I said, I let him sit in my house and shit. I didn't give a fuck when I was 20 years old. I was Superman. No, it wasn't that. I was just, uh, so I was sitting there talking to him. And I was like, "You want a cigar?" He's like, "No, no, I don't fuck with those." And I said, "Well," I said, I can smoke with you." And I meant smoke weed. And he thought I meant smoke something else. And he was like, his eyes got open. He said, "Yeah, yeah." And I pulled out the marijuana. And he was like, "Oh, man." He's like, "No, I don't want none of that." You know. So that's why those guys were like, because I didn't want weed, they were calling me a butterhead. But that was funny as hell to me later on. I was like, man, I was about to fight 3 dudes over a word that I didn't even know what it meant. That's what stopped me in my tracks. So I was like, "What you call me?" I started walking toward him, and one kid was like, "You heard me, old man," or something. I don't remember the words, but it was basically, "You heard me, you butterhead." He might have said some other shit, but it's too long ago, and I'm not gonna, write a little, embellish, do a little writing here and fill in some cool blanks for you. It's just, yeah. He might have said something like, "And your mama is a butterhead too," but I don't. Too long ago. We're talking 25 years ago. And but anyways, what led me into that silly ass little veering off of the path is that if things did get ugly with my landlord and he was carrying that Kimber 45 caliber pistol concealed carry, I don't know if he's adopted that policy here. I had to asking that guy is pointless, though. He lies about every damn thing, or he don't answer your question. But you gotta go. You gotta like be sly with this guy. You just because he's not honest. So I would have to be like, "You still got your Kimber?" And I would have to approach it like in a kind of way, you know, and and maybe like ask him like. I would have to say, like, "Did you carry that here when that meth stuff was going on last year?" You know, to see if he's carrying now. But I don't want. I don't. I want. I'm not good at that repression thing because I did it for 20 years with my dad, and then I got that temper that the dude on the porch. He doesn't know me that well this morning, but he was like, "You can't do that shit. And don't do that shit." And I said, "You're missing the whole point." It's like I'm out of control at that point. It doesn't matter, and it won't matter. Jail, getting killed, getting shot with a Kimber, none of that shit won't matter if I lose control, you know. And um, I got so much reason to hate this guy because he's fucking just, he's just ruined my life. He's been part of the. I shouldn't blame it all on him, of course, but what I mean, of course, is He's been part of the ruination of my life since I've moved in here. Since he took over the building, I used to love living here before he took over the building, and I still loved it. Like for a couple of years after, and then he stopped giving a fuck. And I think it might have been because like he just wanted to maximize the profit here, and that's what a slumlord does. He just puts as little money into the building as possible and rents to whoever. Doesn't care about, stops caring. That's what a slumlord is. Or it could have been that his wife got sick with his liver condition, and he just stopped caring about his job in general. I don't know. But I don't really care about, his wife is doing much better, so I really don't care about his personal circumstances anymore. I used to take that into account for his behavior, and then I found out his wife got better. And his wife got better before he moved into meth heads and didn't have my back during that bullshit. So, uh, life just don't get no easier. And I don't, it's like I'm not, I can do good with very little human contact, but nobody can be a hermit. It's like friends and family. Yeah, that old Mother Hubbard, that covered damn near and bare. So, where do I move? Where do I go from here? What direction does my life could possibly go from here, especially with all my health problems? But living here is going to kill me. It's just going to kill me. I'll be dead. I mean, it's like The Shining. The building is killing me. Except for I think the devil was running The Shining. He was the landlord of the Overlook Hotel. Yeah, I got Gerald. Um, but no, he, I just can't. I can't. I can't do that repression thing. It's really bad for me. And I have to play nice with this guy until I'm out of here. But that's just a decision that I come to, that I made. It's like, you know, hell or high water. I gotta get the fuck out of here. And I was still, because it's financially, because I have so little money to work with. Financially, this is a good setup for me. So that's why I was putting money into guitars and still holding on to dreams like 2 months ago, and buying all those football cards because I figured I'd be here, and not just liquidating, you know, just concentrating on getting that big ball of cash. Because I'm like, I need something to look forward to. I can look forward to the guitars. I can look forward to the football season, and seeing how my cards do. 'Cause I got tons of them. I got like a Baker Mayfield box of cards. It's like this fucking tall. And but now it's like I wish I could go back in time and not spend any of that money on my guitars, and not spend, and not even invest in the coming football season. Because then I could move maybe before the coming football season. Just get out of here. And I would just leave everything behind. Because you're talking $2,000 spent there, and I already, I don't know how much I need to move. I figure I need at least 5 grand to move. Um, to set up shop somewhere else, and buy furniture, and all I really need is a bed and a couch. You know, money to pay the electric bill. Find the problem is finding a place. I'm living super cheap here. I don't know what state you're living in. It's more expensive to live in. It's pretty numbers wise. It's more expensive to live in certain places than other places. But here, I'm paying $425 a month, and all I'm responsible for is the electric bill. And the electric bill for the last 2 months come up to $56. So that's pretty good. I shouldn't even be paying $25 worth of that because I don't have any pets anymore, really. I just feed the cat outside and have outside cats. But at the time, the rent was $400 and I had to have paid $25 extra for pets. But the rent hasn't changed, and 425 is, you know, come on. I don't know if there's what the rates are in other states, but I know it costs a hell of a lot more to live in other places than what I'm getting away with here, even in a slummy, shitty place. So, as far as saving up money, this is a good situation for me. As far as like my continued survival, not so much. Um, but yeah, my nerves are a little bit cooked, and it's 4:17 right now. I've been on here an hour, been in your ear, and somebody, I believe Beth B, said that she likes these long videos, so this one is dedicated to you since I have so few followers. And if I got your name wrong, you can chalk it up to pain and sleeplessness. But um, yeah, this one is for you, Beth B. Since you said you like the long videos and you find listening to me relaxing, I was like, I thought about like considering the content of my videos, and a lot of times the quality of my voice, like I feel hoarse. It's like maybe it's honesty that you don't get a lot of that in the world anymore. So maybe it's like when you're looking at me, you're looking at the truth. You know, I ain't making up no. I hold stuff back, but I don't make no stuff up. You know, like I could have like made that a really interesting story with the three kids and the bicycles, and you know, like I stopped myself from just filling in the blanks as far as what they said. I'm like, that's so long ago. I think they said, and your mama is a butterhead too, but I'm not sure. You know? So yeah, I think that maybe that's part of what appeal I have to the maybe um, 3 dozen people that follow me on a regular basis is that, you know, with me you get honesty, and that's sort of a rare thing in this world these days. Um, you know, because I think also like even as far as like entertainment, you don't even know like, you know, they can do so much video trickery. It's like here's something like I've been rewatching the Game of Thrones, right? And there's a scene, the famous shame scene where they have Cersei Lannister take the walk of shame naked, you know, and she's got this body that's off the charts. And here, I think I read that she was pregnant at the time, and they just put her head on some supermodel body. And I'm like, and you could not tell the difference at all because, you know, I find, you know, I seen her in interviews and stuff, and I'm like, man, that is a sexy woman before that scene ever even saw that scene. And I'm like, you know, I'm talking like personality and voice and that kind of thing. I was like, wow, she's sexy as hell. And then they showed that scene where she's naked and she's got like a supermodel's body, and I'm like, are you kidding me? But then I read later on that that wasn't even her body; that they just like put her head on somebody else's body, and you can't even tell the difference. You know, I come from, I'm old, so I remember the days where you looked for the zipper in the back of the gorilla suit type special effects, or the old dinosaurs where they just drug their tail along and they were like, you know, old um, Harryhausen. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was the guy who did King Kong, and he was the animatronics guy. That he was the best special effects you could get from back in the day. But my overall point being is like even the shit you see you can't believe nowadays. But if I tell you something, you can believe it. And I think that's whatever appeal I have to the few people that listen to me. I think that that's it, because it sure as hell ain't looks. It sure as hell ain't presentation or lighting. And as far as the content, I would find the content if I was watching depressing as hell. But anyways, I think that's about enough and about all my voice can take. I wonder if I can get away with drinking another cup of coffee. And I got about 2 hours before I can justify making noise. That's the thing is, I always try to be a decent human people. A decent human people. Always try to be a decent human people type person to people that don't necessarily deserve decent human type people person behavior. You know, it's like I could be a real bastard to people that are like rotten to me, like with my brother, but I don't. Maybe that's gonna put me in an early grave too. Like when he was like, "Why are you talking about bed bugs?" Motherfucker gave me bed bugs. And he's like being impatient with me for talking about bed bugs. It's like, well, if you didn't want me to talk about bed bugs, don't give me bed bugs. You know, I gave you $200 and I didn't even have to do that because you would probably clean my house for $50. You poor son of a bitch. You know, so yeah. But what's that term I use in another video? Sigma male. I try to like look out for the good of everybody. Like, just it ain't all about me. I've been accused of that just because I make long videos and I use the word I and me a lot, but I don't see nobody else here to talk about. Well, what do you want me to do? Talk about geopolitics? I can't talk about you because, first of all, I'm not sure that would be entirely right, and maybe you don't want me to talk about you, or maybe even Beth B didn't want her acknowledgement and her pat on the back for being a faithful follower of mine. Here's to you. Um, but anyways, see about this second cup of coffee because I've been sipping like tiny little sips out of this coffee trying to make it last. It's just funny, man. Like that shit with the butterhead thing. It's like those memories are all in there somewhere, but just because of the way I was raised and the utter madness. Like I said, it was like nothing. Like we didn't like it, but there was really no steps taken. There was the rats living in the basement, and you'd just be sitting there like at the dinner table eating, and a big ass fucking rat would pop up from the basement, and take a look around the corner, and be like, "Any people there?" "Oh, there's people there," and then they just go back down the basement. Sometimes we would sit on top of the steps, basement steps, and try to shoot them, but we didn't have any real guns to shoot them with, and you cannot kill a rat with a 22 caliber pellet gun unless you hit it in the head or the eye. I don't even think we had a 22 caliber pellet gun. I think we had like BB guns and stuff, and we were just shooting at them, but we didn't have any real guns, and we weren't allowed to because we were too young. But no, I grew up in an insane asylum, which I've described many, many times. Some of the like the way my sister never wore shoes and had dirt shoes, and I don't know. I guess she got a kick out of like fooling everybody with the gigantic bell-bottom pants that covered up her feet to make her and then she'd walk in the stores barefooted. Yes, she just walked everywhere barefooted. She just didn't believe in shoes. She just gave up on shoes. Uh, I don't know how long that lasted. All that stuff, like where I got dressed up as a girl, and like uh, my sister got that buzz on, and I got dressed up as a girl, and I was so young that I was like, "Don't dress me up as no girl." I was like just enjoying the attention, puckering up my lips when they put the lipstick on me and stuff. And then they dressed me as a girl, complete with some kind of stockings. And I think I must have been wearing a skirt if I was wearing stockings, but I was real young. And then they dressed up my sister as a garbage bag, and then my sister said, "Let's put them both out on the corner and see which one gets picked up first." And yeah, I was like, I don't think she'd talk about that. Well, I don't talk to her anymore, so she wouldn't talk about it. It's like, did she dress me up as like just a regular pretty little girl, or did she, uh, you know, do you remember the stockings and the shirt and the skirt though? and I don't, and the makeup, but I must have been little, man. I don't, that's all I can remember about that. But she just got that, she got the smoke in a bowl and got that in her head. And thought that was just the funniest joke in the world. Garbage bag and a cute little girl. Let's put them out on the corner and see which one gets picked up first. Not a very funny joke in today's day and age, but we're talking about 1970, early 70s, so pedophilia wasn't in the back. It wasn't the boogeyman that's in the back of everybody's mind nowadays, it wasn't like that back then. I feel like that was a bad sentence, so I should probably get off of here um, and make another cup of coffee. I didn't get. I just don't feel rested, and it's another thing is like I got the smoking addiction, and I got to stay away from this dude. Even though I kind of like talking to him for some reason. I think I'm just fucking. Occasionally, you need actual human face to face contact with people where you're just having a conversation. You know, it's like me having a conversation with myself. I already know what the fuck I'm thinking and what I'm gonna say. Why? I can't say that I know what I'm gonna say, but I know the contents of my own mind. Wait a minute, I just said I didn't know the contents of my own mind, and I don't think that memory about Butterhead popped in there. So yeah, it's definitely time to go because I'm contradicting myself like a motherfucker. So it is time to go. It's been a pleasant hour and, boy, my eyes bad. Hour and 16 minutes for me. I hope it has been for you. And I will talk to you some other time. And probably remember some more crazy ass shit that's stuck in my noggin in little nooks and crannies with all the spider webs and the cobwebs. Anyways, adios.